Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to look into one of the essential topic for the data security, which is the data loss prevention. And we are going to look into the data loss prevention in Microsoft Purview with one example. And in the coming videos, we will see what are the options and the features that's available in the Microsoft Purview. But before we get into the specifics of creating a DLP policy and utilizing a tooling, let's talk a bit about the data classification. Data classification is a critical step in protecting your organization's sensitive information. It involves categorizing your data based on the level of the sensitivity and the impact it could have make if it is compromised. The common classifications include classifying your data as public, internal, confidential, and highly confidential. By classifying your data, you can apply the appropriate security measures to protect it, ensuring that the sensitive information like credit card informations, personal identification numbers, and other confidential data and any company confidential data are adequately safeguarded. And as we know, for any services that's been deployed over a period of time, it generates quite a lot of data. And as a result of this, the data will contain a sensitive information like we already talked about it, like for example, personal data, company confidential data, and other personal identification details, numbers, like for example, uh, the citizen service numbers and other details, which is considered as confidential. So it's always necessary to make sure that these data is protected and accessible only with the persons who are authorized to see them. And now, the service is being rolled out not only in your data center, because the service is present across your data center. For example, with the cloud service providers, with the SaaS applications, which is not present in your data center, then it becomes a challenge because the data is not only present in your data center, it's present outside your data center as well. And also the other thing is like people are working remotely from the home in a hybrid work environment. Then this also becomes a major challenge because uh, managing the data protection and compliance is getting more complicated because of the large volumes data which is spread in different locations, not only in a data center, and also because of this remote work environments. And last but not the least, because of this, you are increasing the insider risk. By what means? Because people are consuming the SaaS services, so it becomes a challenge for you to block the SaaS services from a managed device. So this also becomes a challenge. The data exfiltration can happen from all these kind of channels. So this is very important to understand and protect your data in this cases, because only then you would have a comprehensive data protection approach. So going further, I will show a little bit example on like what are the things first we need to understand, because the first thing is like you need to do a data discovery. That's most important, because firstly you need to discover and understand and govern your data. That's the most important thing before choosing a tool, because you need to understand and do the data discovery. You need to understand where your critical data is lying. It's only in your data center, or it's across it's in your public provider, it's in your SaaS provider, and then you need to govern that particular data. And then the next thing is you need to do the data classification, because this comes as the most important part, because the data classification is more important as we talk, because you need to understand what data can be considered as public, confidential, strictly confidential, all those kind of classification you need to do. And then the next part is you need to label the data, like it's required for the classification of the data according to the sensitivity type. And then later you can create a DLP policies. This will restrict the data leakage, safeguard the data wherever it lives, and you can do manual auto classification policies based on your sensitivity of the data. For the higher sensitivity of data, it's always better to have an auto classification. And then you can do the data monitoring and see the leakage of the data. And last but not the least, it's also very important to store and archive the data for a specific period, because for example, if the data which is for example, an employee left for a long period of time, then it's not required to have that data. So it's also important to keep that in mind and play work on that data retention part. And last but not the least, this is also continuous improvement. It's not like one time do it and leave it, because you're deploying new services and your data is growing. And also with the new regulations that's been rolling out, it's always important that you visit this part very frequently and make sure that you're up to date according to the industry standards. And also, your data is safe with the services that's been rolled out every time. So having said that, today, let's look into one of the example, that's available in the Microsoft Purview with the DLP. So what we are going to do is, like, basically we are going to create a DLP policy in the Microsoft Purview, and then show by that DLP policy will detect the credit card information that's stored, and then we will see how the DLP policy is detecting them. So having said that, I've just come into the uh, Microsoft Purview. So the first thing what you need to do is, like, the prerequisites. You need to basically, in order to test this, there are some device requirements. The operating system devices must be running Windows, at least minimum Windows 10 version 1809, or Windows 11 is always better. And then the devices needs to be Azure Ready joined, the devices needs to be Intune managed, and also the devices needs to be onboarded in the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So these are the four important prerequisites. So you need to have the operating system, which is Windows 10 or 11. 10 means 1809, Azure Ready join, Intune managed, and also they need to be onboarded to Defender for Endpoint. So device onboarding, you can there are multiple ways to do it. Like, for example, if you want to do it for testing, you can download the package, and then this is going to onboard it to a Defender for Endpoint. And the moment when you have done it, like, you would be able to see the devices here. So in this example, I have just onboarded two devices, and that's the reason you see it here. And also there is licensing. You need to make sure that you have the appropriate Microsoft 365 subscription that includes the DLP capabilities. So basically, if you have Microsoft 365 E5, then it should be perfectly fine. Or if you have any equivalent add-ons, then that should be also helpful. And Also, the other important part is, like, the Defender for Endpoint anti-malware client version should be 4.18 or newer. You can always check that before making that test. And also, you need to make sure the proxy and internet settings, to ensure there's a communication between from your device to the cloud. And These are the important things that you need to. So the moment when you onboard the device, you see them here, which is perfectly fine. So the next thing is, like, let's jump into the demo. I'll show you how I created the DLP policy and uh, uh, what are the results that I have seen. So when I went into the DLP policies, like, basically in the Microsoft Purview DLP policies, you need to create a custom policy. That's what I did. You can just simply go and click on the custom policies, and I targeted the locations: Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams chat, and also devices, all accounts. And I just named the policy as test. If you want to further look into it, I will show. There are a little bit interesting things that is nice to know. I just clicked on edit. Just a second. Okay. So this is the custom policy which I have created. When you go next, there is something called admin unit, which is like, if you would like to assign this policy to a specific set of users or groups, then you can use the admin units, and then you can assign it. But in my case, I've just applied to the full directory because it's of a test tenant. And there is the location where you can apply this policy to the services on which the DLP needs to be applied. So in this case, I have selected Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams devices, Um, and also you have some on-premise repository, which is really interesting. So if you choose the on-premise repositories, then you have an option to use the specific repositories to find this sensitive information. For example, it says like supported repositories include on-premise file shares and SharePoint sites. You can enter the exact path, and of course this path needs to be discoverable, and then you'll be able to scan it. That's a very good option, right? um, and then um, you have the advanced DLP rules. This is the place where yeah, because I'm not going to select the on-premise repository. Excuse me. So here you need to come into the advanced DLP rules, and in the advanced DLP rules, if you come here, I've just selected the credit card information, credit card number, Azure AD client secret, Netherlands physical address, Azure AD client address, Azure AD user credentials. These are the information I have selected, but we have tested only the credit card number. So this is the first example. And the moment I've just created this and saved it, and in order to test this, what I did, like I saved the credit card, like a dummy credit card numbers on the uh, SharePoint, and also I sent a email, and also I sent the credit card information on the Teams. So after this, like I just came into the overview. In the overview, I was just looking into the the product sensitive information. So here I was able to see um, the activities detected. So you see here there's top activities detected, and what are the activities that you would be able to see here. It's three Exchange, one Microsoft Teams, one OneDrive, and one SharePoint. Yeah, I did all those things, so that's reason it's showing up here. Um, and if you want to further drill down, then probably you can excuse me, you can navigate into the alerts section. So in the alert section, it would show a little bit more information on what are the locations and from where it was and what is the time it happened. So if you say here DLP policy match for document visa.docs, that was the test document which I uploaded in OneDrive, and also DLP policy match for document in the SharePoint, which is good. DLP policy match for Teams conversation, DLP policy match for subject test. So if you go into any one of the incident, then that's also very interesting. You see here, I'll be able to see more information. For example, um, let me see. This is an external user risk. That's good to see. So the moment when you open, you can see the user, the event, and location, and what happened. Like it's loading. You'll be able to see a little bit more information. So you see here, Satish sent an email with subject test sensitive content, and then it says credit card number. So this is what I have done for testing, and you see it here. And you see DLP policy match for Teams conversation. The moment when you click that, it is also saying, okay, what is the event? Uh, it would give more information, sensitive info found in Teams chat. So the user activity summary, uh, it says, um, yeah, it says sensitive info found in the Teams. So the moment when we click on it, it would give some information. Excuse me. Yeah, you see here. Uh, the sender is Satish, and then DLP policy matched, sensitive info type credit card. So if you see here in the Teams chat, this is what I have done, and that's the reason I've just sent a test with a dummy Visa card, Mastercard, all this information, and it is able to detect. So this is one of the example which I want to show you on the Microsoft Purview with the DLP credit card alert notification. Probably we would little bit explore more in the coming videos, and then we will talk more about it. So to summarize, we have created a DLP policy in Microsoft Purview to detect the credit card information and test its effectiveness, we are able to see because we uploaded them on OneDrive, Teams, SharePoint, and also send an email externally. That is also detected. It is also saying to whom it was sent externally. So this is really helpful, and it's a very important step in protecting the sensitive data and ensuring the compliance with the data protection regulations. So in the next video, we will explore more on this topic, and then we will see what are the vital aspects that we need to consider for the data security, and then we will see what are the options that's coming in the Microsoft Purview and all the features from Microsoft. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.